As I was just at the coffee shop and about to leave, and a couple of Sudanese guys are walking in. They're grabbing a coffee, whatnot. One of them looked at me and he goes, "Oh, he always sitting by himself. He doesn't talk to anyone." Like, you know, I'm pretty sure they were sent by somebody because similar to last week, I also was grabbing a coffee over there at the same coffee shop. This guy kept moving. He sat right across from me and moved like twice, and then he sat next to me on the table or the booth next to me, in front of me, kind of. And he kept turning around, looking at me, and while I was working on my computer, and I just paid him no mind, and just not interested in having conversation with people that were sent by the enemy. Even Sudanese, they get paid to come and strike a conversation with you. You know what I mean? So, which is, I expected more. I've got less. I expected more from Sudanese because I expect them to be. I expect them to be sovereign beings who do not take orders from anyone, but yet we're working for the enemy. And that's usually, guys. And when people come in your life and they're bothered, like, I don't know this guy from the guy from last week. So is this guy, two guys today. He's like, "Oh, I'm always sitting alone. He doesn't talk to no one." It's like, why would you go to a coffee shop, talk about somebody else who doesn't talk to you? Do you have to know everyone? Do you talk to everybody you see in the coffee shops or public places? Does it really a must do? Like, if someone doesn't want to talk to you, why are you bothered by that? It doesn't bother me none. You know what I mean? If if somebody's not talking to me, oh well. You know what I'm saying? But people, yet he made sure I heard it. He was saying that in Arabic, and he made sure I heard this. It's like you can't escape it. Anyhow, and the other guy was from last week. You could tell he's like rolling his eyes at me because I refused to talk to him as well. That's what they do. They send Sudanese people or people from your own culture who try to strike a conversation. And then to come in your life, to come in your life and fuck it up, or try to talk about certain things and, kind of a waste of energy. When you feel someone come in your life with a motive, do not engage. That's what I've said to many targeted individuals who are recently being targeted. Now, they have not been targeted for a long time or whatnot. This is my advice. I take my own advice, okay? If I give you an advice, this is exactly what I do, okay? It's not like I give an advice and I do something different, And because, I've learned. I used to give really great advices and I don't follow my own advice, But I know when I give you a great advice for a reason. It's very thought after, and it's not like I just kind of telling you that because my advice is great, And so that's what's kind of going on. I was leaving, and then he's like, the two guys said that, Anyhow, so I tend to not to play these games that these people are getting paid to come in your life. They come in your life and try to talk about certain things or trying to to try to talk about certain things or or just kind of would be really negative, or could be really negative. You know what? They don't get people in your life who are positive people. Okay? They don't. They bring people in your life with problems. You know, I've noticed that since I've been targeted. I only met people who was like bipolar or psychotic or has like a lot of like premeditated like issues. Okay, they don't bring somebody who's like Alice in Wonderland who want to spread love. They don't bring people like that in your life. They bring people with problems in your life because to drag you down, to keep you in this state, you know, a never-ending loop of negativity, because that's what they thrive on. They feed on negativity. These people on top, they're very negative. They like to feed on negativity. So obviously they're gonna bring you somebody who's really negative, toxic, beings to keep you in a loop. Okay? So that's what's, going on. So there's, I was like, I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered that they said that. Yes, I sit there and I don't want to talk to you, man, and you should not be bothered, But obviously, they were set there with the motive to, to get me all upset or whatever. I'm not going to be upset about it, I am not going to be upset about it because, life is like a revolving door. If you don't mean anything to me, why would I care? Okay? So I will not remember you seconds from now. Because he doesn't mean, these two guys mean nothing to me. The guy from last week is the same thing. Everybody's upset that I don't talk to them. You know, I have changed since I became a targeted, individual. I used to be like social butterfly. Like I want to get to know people and stuff. I don't do that, no. Because I just think, you stay on your side of the road, I'll stay on mine. I don't need you to come in my life, So anyhow, no one from that side of, what, you cannot manipulate me. These people in this program on top, they send people to, they like to F with you, and they like to F with you and to control your life, and when you're not really feeding into it and playing their game, because to them it's a game, when people don't have a life and they only live in your life, because they need you to survive, so they do that, they think about you all the time, or they're watching you all the time. I'm pretty sure out of the 144,000 all target individuals, I am among the most messed up with and followed around, and like they're very interested, the people on top who running this show, this program, illegal program, they're very interested in me. I'm not interested in them. I've never been interested in them. I don't care to know, you know what I mean? Because I know what they stand for, you know what I mean? I just don't need that kind of, stuff in my life. I don't need them in my life. So it's best to kind of keep it that way, It's, I was, okay, the video I posted 2 days ago about the Big Bang. I like to record my videos when I'm walking, and sometimes you see me walking like turning my camera around, watching who's around me and stuff, because I'm just vigilant, and some people Yeah, because when you're in public, they don't have that camera on you because you're walking. They don't have, a camera stuck in your head, following you around or whatnot. So they want to be, you know, involved and to watch you 24/7 and stuff. I was what it was a very theatrical. There's like the whole thing is very interesting. I was walking around and you could see there's walk pathways. I was not on a pathway. I'm walking on the grass, walking around this tree, and so there. I looked, the guy coming toward me, and so second later, I see him like on the grass there trying to tie his shoes. He sat there, not like even a couple of minutes, tying his shoes, and when I looked at him and I walked, like I moved away, because I was closer to him. I moved away, and then I could see him from the corner of his eye checking me, like I think they were sent to listen to what I was saying. And then another Asian woman was walking toward me. You could tell like these people coming in and like walking toward you. I'm not saying I was on a sidewalk. No, I was not even on a sidewalk. I was in like in grass. And there is sidewalks and there is walk pathway between the trees and stuff. They're not even walking through that. They're walking on the grass on my area. Okay? Okay, it's not paranoia. It's just you just know. You watch and you know. And so this Asian lady came out of nowhere and also walking toward me. And when I saw her, I turned around and walked the opposite direction. And then she was like curving, walking toward me through the curve. Oh, it was so funny. But anyhow, it was very entertaining to watch, And then another person did that, the same thing. He came across and walked on the grass. Yeah. You know what? I want to say, I want to normalize it. I'm gonna say like I'm not the only one who does this. I'm pretty sure you can say that. You can say a lot of people do that. A lot of people actually walk the same way I do, right? That's not true. Okay? Especially people, if you see somebody on on a sidewalk, some people tend to avoid, crowds and stuff. And no one actually walking the crowded road when there is a way that you can avoid walking. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So it's not like it's not like I own the street. No, I don't own the street. I don't own the sidewalk, and I don't expect people, to stop their daily activity and avoid me for just because I demand it. I don't own the street. I don't own the sidewalk. I understand. Not everybody who does. But you can see the theater. It's like street theater. It's like done to you when when it's done to you intentionally. You just see what's going on, right? So it's not this one's done to you intentionally. It's not like these people, they just want to walk on the grass like you. These people are so you understand what I'm trying to say? So the whole thing is like, it made me like, are you serious? So anyhow, that talking about that Big Bang Theory got all these people out of the woods, running toward me, and it was like it's a freak show. It was like, weird. It's like hearing the dog meow. That is like that, And anyhow, the Big Bang Theory also happens on conception. You remember I told you when the serpents going into the garden, you know, and stuff. Think of it as like the egg and the sperm. When the egg goes into, when the sperm goes into the egg, the egg begin to divide, you know, and becoming two, you know. So becoming, if you see, go look online for the division of the egg when the serpent or the sperm goes into the egg. You understand? So the Big Bang is also rebirthing, a rebirth. Bringing life, bringing things to life, bringing creation, bringing, conception happens. So that's what happened when the serpent, exactly when your spinal cord goes into your brain, it divides into the brain. The brain has different sides, it has different parts. That's what happened. You understand? It happens also on birthing, on creation. Exactly the same thing I just mentioned to you last time about the Big Bang theory, that what everybody doesn't know what it is. And I just told you what it is, okay? And this kind of talk they don't like. They don't like it when you unveil what's hidden below, and they don't want people to know. They're always like, how many people are always speculating what's a Big Bang? Nobody knows what a Big Bang is, They have no idea, and everybody just kind of speculating what it could be. Okay? Just that's what I told you. It happens, also in conception. Okay? So, yeah, now you get it. I hope this helps.